What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host that's wearing underwear, and only underwear, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady with a sizable bonus story from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Well, I would do an old-timey cartoon announcement voice, but I'm too shy. Catastrophic kitchen meltdown. This happened decades ago. I was working as a sous chef officially, but I had been running the restaurant without an actual chef for nearly 3 months when this happened. Of course, this is the restaurant industry, so even though I was doing the work of the chef, I hadn't gotten a raise. I had been working there for almost a year at that time. At the point this story happened, I was still pretty new to the industry, so I was taking a lot of crap that later in my career I wouldn't have. Small town problems lead to it being hard to fill the staff with qualified workers. Most of my workers were kids from the village and the surrounding area. We had lost 3 major kitchen positions within the past 3 months. 2 breakfast cooks and the chef. Replacing the chef was the hardest. But by the time this all happened, I had hired and trained enough of the local youth to be almost properly staffed for the ceaseless kitchen rushes. One very hot summer day, the restaurant was rammed full, and suddenly the power goes out. This meant all the fume hoods and AC was no longer working. The ovens, on the other hand, were still working just fine since they were gas-powered. Roughly 10 minutes into the power being out, I told the head server we needed to stop taking orders. The kitchen was getting dangerously hot. We'd finished the bills we had, but then they had to close till the power came back. Head server said okay and went out to the front to inform the other servers and the owner and manager. Owner comes back to the kitchen, kinda wringing her hands. "Head server told me you wanted to close the kitchen? We can't afford to do that. We're full. We can't just turn people away." I understand that you don't want to close, but it's already hotter in here than is legal for people to be working in. I pointed out the temperature on the meat thermometer that was just sitting on the counter. 41 degrees Celsius or 105.8 degrees Fahrenheit. She didn't really reply, just walked back out the door. About that time, more orders came in. So we dig in, wrap damp cloths around our foreheads, and try to work as best we can. It was at this point that my youngest cook, a 14-year-old girl named Karina, parents can sign papers to allow teens to work, passed out while carrying something to the pass. She hit the floor in a huge clatter. I looked at that same meat thermometer that was just sitting on the counter. It was now reading 54 degrees Celsius or 129 degrees Fahrenheit. I picked up little Karina in my arms and told everyone to follow me. We walked through the front of the restaurant, heading straight for the front door. Owner came up to me as I loudly proclaimed, "The kitchen is now closed. We apologize for any inconvenience, but we can't work in 54-degree heat." "No, wait, kid. Back in the kitchen. You can't just walk out. What will I do for food?" At this point, I don't care. I don't work here anymore. I'm quitting effective right now. Cook yourself if you refuse to close. I then turned and headed out the door, my staff all following me. We crossed the street and went right to the river, which we all jumped in. Karina revived as soon as she was immersed in the cool river water. Everyone ended up okay. I ended up reporting the restaurant for the inhumane working conditions on that day. They ended up interviewing a bunch of the staff, all of whom confirmed my complaint, so I don't know exactly what happened, but likely a serious fine. Another restaurant was just opening down the street, so I ended up going there and got my first official chef position. Hired most of my old staff too. None of them really wanted to work for that other restaurant after what had happened that day. The restaurant kept running for a few years after I left, but at this point, it's been closed for decades. Moral of the story, when you depend on people, don't mistreat them, or they might just leave you hanging. Well, I'm inclined to agree with you, but if this subreddit and all these other subreddits are anything to go off of, they'll leave you hanging no matter what. I'm kidding, I'm not some misanthropic little misanthrope. I like giving people the benefit of the doubt. You know, I feel like it might help urge them to do the right thing. I don't know. This story's called Fat Walmart Karen. Want to start this story off by saying that when I do go live shopping, as I like to call it, I mind my own business. I don't ask for help, and if I cannot find an item, I decide I don't need it and move on. I hate public places with people milling about as it raises my anxiety. Kind of funny considering my job. So generally, when I go to a store, I power walk to the areas I need to be in, grab my stuff, pay, and get out. This particular shopping trip was pretty much the same. I walked into Walmart, grabbed a cart, and began my normal routine. It was 11 p.m. I worked odd shifts from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. and shopped at night. So there was hardly anyone there except for the weirdos. So power walking through was always easy. I got through about a quarter of my list before I realized that someone was following me. When I turned to look, there was an older woman, overweight, with sunglasses on her head and 2 different types of animal print on her body. I give it Fat Walmart Karen. Finally, were you trying to outrun me? I didn't register that anyone would be following me around while I'm shopping. What do you need? Well, it doesn't matter if you were shopping and off the clock. You still work here and you need to help customers when they need help. I just raised my eyebrow at her, then continued my routine. I was wearing a light blue shirt with my company's logo and huge letters on the back and front, as well as long black shorts and black boots, as was my company's dress code. My shirt even had my job title stamped in huge letters below the company logo on the front and back of the shirt. Security. Even though I was in the right colors, they were the wrong hue and she was an idiot. I had no time for that exchange and wanted to get home so I could eat and sleep. I got a couple of aisles and several more items checked off my list before I felt a stabbing pressure in the middle of my shoulder blades. I slowly turned around to see Karen's long nails in the process of going to stab me again. Do it again and I'll have you arrested for assault. You need to do your job. You need to learn how to read. What does my shirt say? It was like she just noticed my shirt, the logo, and the title. Her eyes grew big before they narrowed again in the typical Karen fashion. Guys, I am short and non-threatening build-wise, so I don't blame her for making the same mistakes as everyone else thinking she can intimidate me. However, she had no idea who she was messing with. I once tore my esophagus screaming to freak another Karen and her husband bad enough to run away from me in Target. Well, it doesn't matter because you are in hospitality and you should help me. I am going to call your employer. You're gonna call an officer of the law to complain that I won't help you in Walmart at midnight after you assaulted me? Go ahead. She was talking over me at this point, so I pulled out my cell phone and dialed the midnight officer. Once I got him on the phone and explained it through her rant, he said, "Sure, hand her the phone." So I did. She went from smug to scared in less than a minute talking to him. She handed me the phone back before hippo-stomping her way to the next aisle. I do not know what he said, but I was grateful I didn't see her again as I finished my shopping. The next night, as I was on my way out, the midnight boss was on his way in. He stopped and said, deadpan, "Was she fat? She sounded fat." Hippo. Well, have a nice night. We are people of few words. Okay, that was a pretty good story. However, I don't see how the fat part has anything to do with her behavior or the story in general, but do what you will. This story's called I Can't Help You. Not sure if this counts, but some time ago, I worked for a third-party company that works in Walmart. My job was to sell and activate prepaid cell phones that were part of specific brands, and those brands only. I worked inside Walmart, but not for Walmart. I couldn't run a cash register, unlock items, or even stand behind the counter. It was also forbidden for me to recommend or activate other brands of phones to people. One day, a couple came in and were looking for the Boost mobile section. Me, not being a pushy salesman, showed them where the display was and walked away so it wouldn't look like I was discussing other brands, just in case my boss came in. A few minutes later, the couple called me over to recommend them a phone, and I directed them to a Walmart employee, explaining that I don't work with the Boost phones. The couple decided on a Boost phone to purchase, and while the Walmart associate unlocked it from the cage, they approached me and asked me to activate the phone for them. I told them that the procedure to activate is very simple, that it is just a phone call to the customer service or a trip to the Boost store. However, I'm personally not allowed to activate Boost phones. They started to get upset with me. I tried to level with them and explain that I can only activate XYZ brands and that if my boss caught me activating a different brand of phone, I would be fired. At this point, both the husband and wife are yelling at me. The wife is yelling at me that they've had phones activated here before and that I'm denying her service for no reason. The husband is demanding that I help them because I'm a Walmart employee. I was still calm, but explained that I wasn't a Walmart employee. The wife then demanded I get her a Walmart employee to activate her phone for her. Me having worked this job, I know how much I hated getting volunteered to do things without prior knowledge. Therefore, I didn't want to volunteer a Walmart employee in case they were busy or they just didn't know how to do it. Also, activations were not mandatory. They were privileges. I told the woman she would have to ask the associate for help when he came back with their phone. I could not ask for her. The wife screamed for me to call on the phone for a manager. I told her I don't know how, as I don't know what the number is or how to use the store phones. She screamed at me to go find a manager. I gladly walked away, all the way to the break room for the rest of my shift, which was luckily almost over. Apparently, the husband chased down another associate asking for a manager and followed him back to where only associates are allowed, saying that he wanted to make sure that I didn't lie on him and his wife. When a manager finally came, she explained that a Walmart associate would activate the phone for them, but that I couldn't because it was against my company policy. The company had argued with the manager about me and how rude I was for about 30 minutes. This couple never bought the phone. No manager ever said anything to me about that incident. Well, first of all, sounds like you have a sick, nasty manager. Okay, you gotta appreciate that. Second of all, nothing is worse in a job where you have to deal with customers or clients or whatever than being limited in what you can do. That might be something that you'd probably have to do a lot. For example, say there's a specific size of drink that customers might request a lot that you're not allowed to sell without a manager's permission. And, you get asked like 4 or 5 times a day, hey, can I get that, the cool cup? And you're like, I can't, and manager has to do it. And it's just an annoying thing. Alright guys, that sizable bonus I mentioned earlier is called Today I Fudged Up by getting my first kiss on Halloween. Long. It's funny, the audio looks like a TIE fighter. Anyways, if you wonder why I am talking about my first kiss, I'm 14. That's why. So I was sitting down and scrolling through Snapchat stories when I see a really good friend of mine post something about a party. If she was going or invited, I don't remember. And I replied to her story, "Where are you headed to?" And she replied, "Oh, it's a girl that likes me's house. If you want to, you can come too. There's a ton of people you know." I had my outfit ready. I was a skeleton with a face mask or something. I always do trick-or-treating by myself for fun, so I thought I haven't really gone to a party in a while, so why not? Oh boy, was that a mistake. I sent her an "I'm down" text and she sent me the girl's address so I can come. She said, meet at 5. Okay, no big deal. I get dropped off and I say bye to my dad. As I see the house, there were no outdoor decorations, so I thought the parents chill in the house while we were in the garage. And I was right. I walk up and ring the doorbell, and her mom answers by only opening the door. No hi, no nothing. So I head in. As soon as I enter, there were no parents, only her mom, and she went upstairs. And God knows what she was doing. I go to the garage. It was sort of more like a chill-out spot. I knew everyone there, but it was messed up. One of my male friends brought whiskey with about 10% coke. I know, it should be the other way around. My other male friend, it was like 3 males and 7 females, brought a freaking weed plant in a pot. Not cut, not anything. A weed plant. The other girls were just chilling and blasting music. Some were playing beer pong with beer. I greet everyone up, and the wild girl there decides to play a card game that I don't know the name of. You sit in a circle, you suck on one card, and pass it around until it reaches the last player. Some people, after dropping it, were making out. Literal French kisses and everything. So we finish up, and it's around 8 or something, and we decided to go trick-or-treating. We were like 12 of us, and every 10th person would open the door, as who would want their whole basket of candy gone in one knock. We were walking around, and the host asked me something. This is where you'd have a moment that you'll remember for the rest of your life. She turned around and said, "Hey, OP, you know I've liked you for a long time, right?" She would flirt with me every now and then. I said, yeah, why? Sorry if it's weird to talk to you about it, I just don't want a relationship right now. I'm focused on something else. Family and gaming. She says, yeah, I know, but how about we make out? I looked at her dead in the eyes and said, huh? With a shaky voice. I then followed up with, what do you mean? Like right now? She says, yeah. Holy crap, it's happening. She's semi-attractive, so I don't care. I got that feeling when you have an exam tomorrow and you haven't studied for crap, you know? That gut feeling. So I read about how marijuana slows down perception, and it felt like I ate a store load of pot brownies and everything is super slow. She leans in, and so do I. We do it, and everyone starts screaming like they saw Drake or something. It was amazing for me as it was my first, but they did it tons of times, and so did she. I acted like it was nothing since I am known for rejecting a lot of girls, as I said reason before. 2 days pass, November 2nd, 8 days before my birthday, November 10th, and I am really excited about it. My phone suddenly blew up, not literally. At least 10 people messaged me at one time, referencing a story on Snap she posted saying, is this true? I had no idea what they're talking about. Someone was recording and they sent it to her, and she spun the whole story around that I grabbed her and I did it forcefully. I was now considered a violator. I could get suspended or even expelled, have a record on my name. It was a pretty big deal. I posted on my story as by the time I was processing what was happening, I got 30 more texts back. I said I did no such thing to host, and I did do it only with consent from her. She even asked first. Then another video came out. The pot guy posted a video of like 10 seconds earlier showing that she talked about it and asked. Apparently, she told him to watch this as she knew I wouldn't say no, but little did she know that he was recording and her plan crumbled. He tagged me saying, I know you wouldn't do such a thing, at my Snap name. I don't even know what her plans were. I guess because I don't want to date her, she'll expose me? I have no idea. The school somehow found out about this and had to get parents involved. They found out every detail and expelled her for internet harassment and bullying. All of my friends had my back. They made a group chat with me in it, spamming the report user button to get her Snap banned. And it worked. I never spoke about it with my parents. We only spoke about it in the school office. That's the only time. Now I'm 14, I was 13 at the time, sitting here at 2 a.m. writing about this because someone inspired me to. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry, this is horrible, okay? What happened to this kid is very bad and an actual problem that is a problem nowadays. But can we admire how savage he is? He wants to turn down all these girls because he wants to focus on family and gaming. No, I'm not bashing him, okay? That's an early age for a relationship, and I don't know, but gaming that's what I did, basically. What makes this funny is that this is 100% without a doubt written by a 14-year-old. Okay, anyways, on to the actual serious stuff. Yeah, this guy almost got completely messed up in terms of life because this girl was trying to do something really petty. Thank God his friend was recording, though. Obviously, this goes without saying, but guys, don't force people to kiss you, and I'm not saying this happened here, but, you know, that's a thing that does happen. And girls, don't lie about being forced to kiss a dude. That's petty, and also it takes away attention from those who need it, you know, people who are actually forced to kiss people, or worse. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.